while ago. I went in to do something else. It worked fine.
Good evening, Turner County Commission meeting. Here's your agenda for the meeting tonight. Not sure what Dr. Dave Alexander's here about, but they've discussed the fire hydrant before, or they've discussed the data centers before. Planning Advisory Board. Click Broadband is the new broadband internet company that's coming to Turner County. They already provide service to some places here, and the roofing repairs is supposed to be covered by insurance. Here's your agenda. Back up. Air conditioner blowing. And you'll see that they have microphones now. They will work, they do work, we've tested them, but I'm not willing to swear that it works well enough for me to mount my microphone over there at the speaker, because they're going to have to lean into the microphone to make themselves be heard. And if they do that, then I'll move my speaker if need be for next time, my microphone's for next time, but we're gonna see. Y'all let me know. Thank you. Left to right. Alan Weaver, Brad Calhoun, he's here. Chair Dana Whidden, Joe Burgess, Nick Dunham, Attorney Jamar Ship, and their lower right is County Clerk Latrice Wilson.
Maybe try it and see. Did it work a while ago when I left? Because I did make a phone call inside, so that's why, one day it's working. I don't know if there's a way of me looking at, because my phone is not going to show which one I'm on.
We've got
You can. Come on, there one day.
If I gave you something, I'd let you know.
I appreciate it.
Sorry.
Brad's got a new toy.
Real early or real late? Yeah.
That makes sense.
All right, it's 6 o'clock. I'm gonna call the meeting to order. Dan, would you be kind enough to do the invocation, please?
Yes, ma'am. Lord, we just thank you on this day that you've given us. We thank you for that which you've given and that which you've kept out of our lives that we didn't need, Lord. As we come before you now, we ask you to just be with us in each and every way, soften our hearts, open our eyes, and let us live in your glory, Lord. We ask you to watch over our farmers, give them what they need, and for those in public safety, we put them in the palm of your hand to protect them from all dangers that may come their way. Lord, they got families too, and they need to go home to them after every shift. Lord, as we come before you this evening, we ask you to grant this board the wisdom they need to make the right decisions in your sight to make this a better community for all. And all is said and done, we thank you in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? and justice for all. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
Motion.
A motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. All right, do I have any public comments regarding the agenda items? No. All right, then we'll go on to speakers. Our first speaker is Mr. Dave Alexander. Sir, you can either stand in the center room or use the podium, whichever is most
This is
comfortable.
fine right here.
That'd be fun. Just speak up so that we can hear you on the recording.
Yes, ma'am. I'm here to address a property tax issue. Bought a farm, my wife and I bought a farm in April last year. And we have another house in the county, in Turner County. And I got paperwork saying that I had sales tax. Well, I'm 100% disabled vet, retired in 2011. And 100%. So I granted that I was gonna be under that umbrella as far as with 100% disability. And they're saying that since I bought it in April, that I'm not under that umbrella. So I'm trying to get a bison farm together and a lot of other things, and it's really playing a havoc as far as the sales tax. I'm already paying sales tax on another piece of property that we live in now, because we haven't moved to the farm yet, because there's so much renovation going on.
So, you're talking about property tax?
That's correct.
Okay. So, the gentleman, the state law says that if you're not occupying the property on January first, then you pay property taxes on that property. What Mr. Alexander is asking of us is to, since he's 100% disabled, so in 2026, you will not going forward pay property taxes, correct?
Correct.
He's asking us to waive the 2025 property taxes to align with his military disability of 100%. That's what he's asking.
So you were disabled at the time you actually got a tax bill?
Yes, yes, sir. We actually filed all the paperwork in April when we bought the farm. My wife did. And yeah, we thought everything was in line, and then we got a tax bill.
I don't either.
The law, I thought everyone who owns property on January first is responsible for the property taxes, not April first.
Well, we bought it in April, so he would have been from January to April when we bought it, then Mr.
Horace
Royce.
Donahue, it's Horace Donahue's old place. Yeah.
So the seller paid it up to a certain point. Did the seller, whoever you?
Yeah, he
closed,
paid it
He paid it up to the
yeah,
day you
April.
closed.
And I got a tax assessment from April to December 31. Correct.
I ain't got no problem with it.
I don't know.
So what will happen, Mr. Alexander, is next week, it will be on the agenda and the board will vote, based on your request.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
It's also, on a house, it only gives you so much, don't it? I mean, that's where they question, I don't know how much, you
Well-
can't have a 1,000-acre farm.
It's a homestead, whatever.
It's
you
the-
it's a
declare it,
homestead,
So
yeah.
we declared, so the house in the county, we didn't declare it as our homestead. We knew that we were going to build this farm here, the bison farm. So that's what we decided to plug it in, and then when we bought it, we plugged it in there.
So it's just a homestead we're talking about.
Yes, it is homestead, correct.
So it's just the portion that the,
40 acres.
the disability, 100% disability applies to,
Correct.
correct?
That's correct. That's
Thank you, Mr. Alexander. All right, next speaker is Sheriff Hester for the next two items, the first one being repairs, at the jail, and the second one, E911.
All right, so I'm gonna try to give y'all a brief, I've got a description, if y'all want it, I can give it to you afterwards, or I can ask questions or whatever, but our sewer system down there at the jail has a lift station, or has a grinder. So the sewage comes out of the jail into this grinder, we call it the honey hole out there, because it's got a lid on it that we have to check periodically. Got two grinders in there that pump the sewage up into the sewage system that's connected to. It's 34 years old. Now, there has been repairs to it over that 34 years. The grinders have been replaced, the pumps have been replaced with the grinders in it. They need replacing again, and since it's so old, the electronics that are out there that you see when you ride by, it's got a green light on top of it inside the gate there. alarm system, and it's a control system for that also. We got one pump running right now, the other one's not any good anymore, and we have to reset that pump every night. So if that pump goes out, we're gonna have to move 60 or 70 inmates out all over the state to house them, because we're not gonna be able to keep them in the facility because we're not gonna pump sewage out there. I got two estimates, to replace both the pumps and the control box that's attached to it. One of them was 60,000 and one of them was 64,000. It's something that we have to do to have the sewage running, and like I said, I've got the estimates here, if y'all want to pass them down there. Two estimates for two different companies. But right now, we're kind of limping along. Like I said, we reset that one pump every night, the other one's not working. And,
I believe we can pay that with slush funds, repair some building.
that last one.
That's all the small print.
If y'all would like, after tonight, I can make copies and y'all can.
It gotta be this, man.
It's a crappy job, that's for sure.
I don't know who built the jail in the bottom.
I wouldn't, not me, I can promise you. Oh, I'm ready to move on? I didn't know if y'all had any questions about it, I'm sorry. We're moving on to the next, thing, the 911 center. Since I have an agreement with y'all to run the 911 center, I think it's pretty important that y'all, if you haven't heard about this, I'm gonna enlighten you. March 13th, I got a phone call from a citizen, that asked me had I watched the city council meeting from Sycamore on March the 12th. And I said, no, and they said, well, you probably don't want to. I said, well, I'm gonna go see what it's all about. So, I went and watched the, went and watched the, video, that Mr. Baker was videoing the council meeting that night. And the topic come up at the end of the meeting that our 911 center had not dispatched a 911 call for law enforcement to go to a citizen in the city of Sycamore. And it was also brought up that the mayor had contacted the sheriff's office and hadn't got any response. And then the captain with the police department got up and said that they get unit check. They don't get unit checks for their units on the interstate whenever they're out on traffic stops. And so he proceeded to discuss that, and the attorney there had done an open records request for all the records from our 911 center that week. And we also give him the audio from that day that he was in question about this 911 call. And they held all that up and said that it wasn't on the records. The 911 call wasn't on the records, and that somehow it just wasn't there, implying that somehow it got deleted from our system, which we did not do. So after watching the video, I was a little perturbed about the fact that they didn't contact me. The mayor could have contacted me or the captain that runs 911. She happens to be out sick, got operated on and wasn't there. So by him saying that he contacted her, our sheriff's office and didn't get a call back, I knew it wasn't true because she's not there. And he didn't call me. So I called him and I said, enlighten me, tell me what's going on. And he didn't get to say a lot because I had a lot to say to him, but nevertheless, I opened up an investigation on it and determined through our investigation that the 911 call didn't come to our center, it went to Tifton. And the dispatcher at Tifton was new in Tifton, and she didn't know the address where to forward it to, so we've never gotten a 911 call at all. So we couldn't have dispatched, it was for a suspicious person. And the mayor could have called me, and I could have found that out without him blasting me on social media. The second thing was, our investigator called him and asked him about the unit checks, which is very important, to do unit checks. And they had no records of no documentation where they had been keeping records of times that we didn't do unit checks, because we could go back and see why. And the insinuation was that I don't care about the citizen's safety and I don't care about law enforcement officer safety. And that's far from the truth. I am a law enforcement officer, and there's probably not anybody in this county that cares about the safety of the citizens or those law enforcement officers than I do. And so, just for y'all's benefit, because I do share that responsibility at 911 center with y'all, our dispatchers done perfect. They didn't get the call. Looking back on calls, just to see if they had been missing any, without any dates and times, we don't see any other than the normal. Sometimes we don't get a unit check because they're talking to a citizen, or because they're busy on the phone with 911 calls and things of that nature. So sometimes the officer don't get a unit check. That's just the nature of the beast. We stop, the sheriff's office stops over 1,000 cars a month. I'm sure Sycamore and Ashburn probably do the same, so those dispatchers have a lot of responsibility. And sometimes they don't get a unit check. But for officer safety reasons, our deputies know that if a deputy's out on a traffic stop and they don't get a unit check, their partner checks on them, or another officer checks on them that's out working with them that day, which any of these other agencies can do themselves. I called the police chief in Ashburn to see if he had any problems with the 911 center. He said not one bit. That if he has an issue, he's been able to call the captain, and she's handled it. And of course, if she's not there, which she's not right now, they can call me or Charles, and we will make sure it's handled. Our dispatch center, as y'all know, is all the phone lines are recorded down there, the radio traffic recorded down there, the CAD, when they get a call, they put it into that CAD system. We don't delete stuff out of that. We can't delete it off that 911 trunk system, and we don't delete it off the system that we monitor. The 911 center, inside the center itself, has cameras and records audio in there, just in case it's not on that phone system or on that radio system, and that's accusation of something going wrong in that center. It's recorded and monitored. So unless that stuff's broke and not working, we got a record of it. And if the mayor of Sycamore, and we did speak to the police chief in Sycamore, she said she was not aware of any incidents, they can call me anytime, and I will investigate any accusation, just like if one of y'all called and said, we want to know this or that, or whatever it is, we will go and look it up. And if one of the dispatchers does anything wrong, I can promise you, they will be disciplined for it. And if it's to the extent that they done something illegal or not follow policy on purpose, then they'll be terminated. So just for y'all's benefit, we did investigate that fully. And I don't expect I'll be getting an apology from Sycamore, but that's the truth of the matter. And, for the citizens' benefit of the county, we do take care of stuff in Sycamore. If Sycamore does not take care of it, we're here to do that for every citizen in the county. And they are my responsibility as much as they are city of Ashburn and Sycamore. So when they don't get service from them, they will get them from us. Y'all got any questions about that?
I didn't go ahead.
So didn't any heads roll, like you said?
He said he was coming tonight and that some heads were gonna roll, and I've tried to be as professional, and thanks to Ben telling me that, people can't make you angry unless you let them. But I was very angry about the fact that he didn't call and give me the opportunity to investigate this. And the time that he says that he called and didn't get any response was over 4 years ago on a call, that the last time we had this where they wanted to go to another center, we sat down in my office with Jenny and settled it with him. That 4 years ago when the one he brought up to, I guess, to boost the whatever that night. But it is what it is. And they did discuss going to another center in their meeting, and calling and doing whatever. And I'm gonna be honest with you, if they do, it's fine with me. But it's gonna cost the citizens their safety. So if they're worried about citizen safety, they need to be worried about that, because the example is that Tiff County dispatcher wasn't from there. She was not from here. She didn't know the address belonged to Turner County, so she didn't forward it to Turner County. And if they think going to a center in Urban County or being here or wherever they think they're gonna go, that those ladies or gentlemen are gonna know anything about that county, they're mistaken. It's gonna be worse for the citizens to move to another one. Yes, ma'am.
So I know our center does a great job, but my concern is with the Tiff County dispatcher, what did they do, or have you worked with them to make sure this doesn't happen in the future?
We made it known to the director there what happened, and I don't know what he done as far as discipline goes. He did investigate it to figure out that it didn't come here. I don't know what he's done as far as discipline goes there.
But they are aware, so they're
They are
taking
aware
some
that
kind
it-
of action to
They are
resolve
aware.
it.
Thank God that it wasn't nothing but a suspicious person and not a heart attack or some emergency that didn't come to us. But, you know, we're, you know, we're not infallible. The 911 center is not infallible, by example of that 911 call on a cell phone will go to the closest place that you are. So it hit the tower. The lady was in Tiffin when she called the mayor first and told him that she had a suspicious person over. She wanted him to send one of their officers over there, and he told her no, call 911. And she did that. She was leaving Tiffin. It went, hit the tower down there and went to their center. And so, you know, that's great that he told her to call 911. It's documented. It's on the system where we can document that. The problem with it is he could have called me afterwards when she didn't get no service and said, hey, something happened. And I could have done this without having to stand up here. I could have dealt with the mayor or the chief of police down there. I actually could have done it. And it would have been a settled deal. But to try to, it was just very unprofessional what they did, and I made it known to the mayor how I felt about it. So, but I think I owe y'all an explanation since my agreement was to make sure 911 was running properly for y'all, and glad to say it wasn't our failure.
Well, and I think it's important that people understand that this individual was on her cell phone in the Tipton area, and so that created this situation, and it's really a one-off probably, and that they should not be concerned when they make their calls, because I know our folks are gonna do a tremendous job when they do.
Well, I would like to add that, you know, and I know Ben, this will be important for the paper, for people to understand that the reason dispatchers ask all the questions they ask when somebody calls 911 is just for that reason specifically. I know people get frustrated because they're asking them a lot of questions, but there's another dispatcher over on the console that's dispatching those resources to them when they need them. And all those follow-up questions help eliminate some of the confusion about addresses and where it actually is and things like that. And so if they'll be patient, we're getting a resource to them, but it might not be the lady that's talking to them on the phone. There's somebody over there monitoring what she's typing as she's typing it and getting the ambulance or the fire truck or us en route. So they need to understand that we're getting resources to them, and just be patient and answer all those extra questions if they can. If they're not having to do life safety measures to a person by giving them CPR. And if they're not, you know, they can ask for directions from the dispatcher. She can give them instructions on CPR, so. All right.
Thanks, Sheriff.
When,
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Dave.
when, someone calls, just like in this instance, the lady called 911. Okay, does the 911 center say Tiff County 911, or they just say 911, what's your emergency?
They say 911, what's your emergency?
You know, it'd be good if they could say, hey, this is Tiff County 911 or Turner County 911. That way, that may,
That's right.
you know, that may solve the problem.
Right. I think our dispatchers do say Turner County 911 center, but I don't know what, you know, it's talking about two different centers and policies and stuff like that.
You know, that way, if the caller said, hey, this is Tiff County, I'm in Turner County, my address is Turner County, can you, you know, they might get.
He did say that I don't know, cause I didn't, I do have the, full report here and I have the audio, and each one of the interviews with the police chief and the mayor and all is on the report here, if any of y'all are interested in those things. But, the director down there did say that the lady was from out of state, she was new, and when the lady gave her the information, it was, I don't know whether it was gobbled or whatever, it wasn't clear. That's the reason she didn't know the complete address to know where to send the call to. So we never got it, out of the distance center.
Thank you. Any other questions for the sheriff? No? Thanks, Sheriff. All right, on to general discussion. Item number 1, discuss airport fire hydrant. So a couple of us have been kind of wrangling with this issue, and I personally talked to Eric Richter, Brad might have as well. He said that the fire hydrant does need to be fixed that's out at the airport, especially when they go to put the T-hangers in. The system, the sprinkler system and some other requirements will require that fire hydrant be repaired. He said it needed to have a certain pressure level on it. He didn't know what it was off the top of his head. When I spoke to the city manager, Even though it is on the city's line, it is her thinking that because it is at the airport, that it is our problem and not theirs. And so that is an issue that will need to be discussed. But at bottom line, it needs to be fixed, per Eric. The question is, how do we go about getting it fixed? And so Brad might have some additional information that I'm not aware of, so I'll turn it over to you, Brad.
The fire hydrant is tore up, the city's probably got 10 fire hydrants that don't work, because the fire department wants it fixed, but the water department, they only have so much money, so they just fix what they think is more important. Our hydrant's not that important. I had asked for it to be put on the development authority's, meeting, for the development authority to discuss it, because they get money from businesses that, instead of us getting, they get a pilot payment instead of us getting tax money. So I wanted the development authority to talk about it. I talked to the director and I talked to the chairman. But when they started talking about it, I think you tabled it, so y'all didn't get to talk about it. So I would like for us to table it and let the development authority see if they will pay for it, because they got money that we don't have on certain things.
Yeah, and
Those squad supposed to take care of anything like that. If we spend money like that on squad.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
But
we
why
could,
we even discuss it, if we know all the guy over at regular, all he had to do, get it fixed, right?
well,
Money handle, right?
Richter can't fix it, it's
But
the,
squad money handle, right?
yes, lots
Sure,
to pay
sure
for it.
we-
We just have to get the city to actually
We got a
take the
problem, all we
action
need to
since
do
it's on
is
their
say,
line.
You gotta fix it, damn, fix it.
I mean,
I mean,
That's all you
who's
gotta
gotta pay for it? I mean, are we gonna pay for it?
If squad do it, squad money got to do it, right?
It's- it
Okay,
should.
then all you gotta do is fix it. We ain't gotta even discuss it, if we do it, fix it. You squad money to do it,
We can't fix it, we've got to pay the city of Ashburn to fix it.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Pay City Avenue, do what you gotta do.
we can do that, that's
That's
the
all you
easy
gotta
way,
do.
I was just trying to
You know, you
get
trying to.
somebody else to pay for it. I'm
Well,
sorry for
well,
trying to save taxpayers.
Squad money to do it, that's the squad money. We ain't gotta do it.
Doesn't the airport have a bunch of grant money?
they can't use it for that. So I asked Eric that question and he said that that's considered maintenance and it's not allowed for maintenance. So I had him ask that question and he verified that we cannot use that money. Our safety issues are about wrapped up, I think. He said that, and he wants to move on to get those T-hangers, and that hydrant is going to be a part of necessary infrastructure to support that
I
T-hanger,
agree with
so.
that, let's fix it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, it's gotta be fixed, so let's just jump on it, is my feeling, and fix it. So if that, next week we'll vote on how we best to fix it, and then we'll move from there. So, any other comments, thoughts? No? Okay. Item 2, discuss possible moratoriums on data centers, battery energy storage systems, and Gina asked me to consider adding crypto to this as discussion as well. So, I had generally spoke about this in another meeting and I wanted to formally have the conversation. Tried to do some homework on these things. There's conflicting guidance on moratoriums, whether we need one or don't need one. I know of several landowners that have been approached regarding both, regarding the energy storage system. My concern is we don't understand, things like water consumption, water waste, the noise. You know, in my district, of course, I have a lot, as does Nick, and Brad, we have a lot of farmers, pivots, personal wells. I don't know if it'll have an impact on them or not. You know, what are the safety risks with these battery storage? Is there any battery runoff likelihood? Is there risk there? What about the energy consumption used to put up these? Is there jobs that this is created or not? Are the revenues sustained or do they gradually decrease? What's the replacement schedules on these battery systems? They're large boxes. So I just would ask that, I know that there's this thinking that they have to come to us, but I would like us to be proactive and put at least a 12-month moratorium in place, like a lot of counties are doing, to just get our arms wrapped around these systems, to understand them better, so if we're faced with them, we can either put know what the ordinances need to look like, or we can say, no, we're gonna permanently ban them, which I'm, open to that discussion, certainly. But that was it. I want us to formally have that conversation about them. So does anybody have their thoughts on the moratorium?
I
Yes.
don't have a problem on the moratorium on the data center, but on the battery energy storage, I'm going to another class in April, but I've talked to the battery storage people and some of the power people. The battery storage they put a solar farm up, and now they're starting to add batteries to instead of just solar panels, they have battery storage. Some of the farmers in our county, they cut the pivots off during the summer, during the heat of the day, when everybody's running their ACs or their pools or whatever. So they have the ability to just cut your pivot off from flowing. I was told that the battery storage will try to eliminate some of that, because the power companies will be charging, if the power lines will actually be charging the batteries during the night, or the solars, according to which way they got it working. So during the day, the power companies, they'll be able to draw power from those batteries to maintain everybody's households, but everybody likes to be 72 degrees. So I don't know, and batteries everywhere. We're sharing, there's a big batteries down there at the 911. I mean,
Yeah,
to charge, to back up everything down there. I
These
mean,
are
it's-
huge numbers of big boxes.
But I mean, I
So
don't know.
do you know what the noise level would be? Do you
On
know
a
what the
battery?
buffer is on it for people that are living in those areas?
I don't even know if a battery makes any noise. I've never
But
heard
that's
one.
my point.
Yeah. Oh, I think we need to find out more information on it, but
But the moratorium gives us a chance to kind of answer those questions that we have.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we, I'll be in favor of voting for a moratorium on short-term notice. And say, listen, nobody from data centers has contacted anybody in the county that I know of. In the event that they do, and I doubt they will, we could say, listen, we're not gonna do anything for 12 months. That's gonna give us time to find the good, the bad, the ugly. We'll go to visit the sites, we'll talk to the commissioners, we'll talk to the city people, we'll talk to the neighbors, do everything we got to do to find out everything there is to know about data center, batteries, storage, whatever.
Yes,
And then make a decision.
we actually have
Because
someone that's
we
been.
don't know enough about it to make a decision, but I would agree with doing a moratorium, for a short-term notice.
I think that's a great idea, and we have had someone that's been approached, to buy a battery energy storage.
yeah,
company.
they're talking to several farmers.
Yeah, and it's a pretty good amount of money that they're offering them, so I think we don't wanna get caught out, and I think a moratorium would be, 12-month moratorium would be wonderful, so.
But we also don't want private property rights. We don't wanna stop people from being able to sell their land.
No.
So
That is true, but we're just following suit of many counties that are trying to get their arms wrapped around it, so that we have our ordinances, we have the things that we need in place, so we're not caught off guard. So-
data centers, I agree with.
Yeah.
Just
So-
not sure on matters.
And then the crypto, Gina asked us to include that as well.
Can we get, whoever's not speaking on the mic to turn the mic off, so
Okay.
we don't have feedback?
Perfect.
Yeah.
So, Gina had asked us to include crypto on it as well, so, please be thinking about it, and then we'll discuss a motion next week, so thank you so much.
And be sure to get that right, I said, voting for a moratorium.
Alright, number 3, discuss planning advisory board. So this is basically the zoning board, and I had talked to Gina about this, and, she is investigating, we have several people on the board that have not, their term has expired, and so she's trying to get from the cities and from us exactly who's been appointed, when their term. She'll be coming back to us with recommendations as appropriate for the board, to make sure everyone is current, on the board. Gina, did you have anything to
I did,
add?
all 3 of ours for the county needs to be,
Replaced or renewed?
renewed.
Okay, and all 3 people still wishing to stay on the board, and they are who?
Wayne Reed, Chris McCart, and Willie Rainey.
Okay, so those are our 3 representatives, so we just need to renew that next week, correct?
Correct.
Thank you, Gina. Any comments? All right. Item number 4, I'm going to turn over to Brad. He has this added.
The Click Broadband is, Ms. Terry's in the audience, but this is what we discussed the other day, Joe, about our fiber that we have running up and down the road. We gotta get maps of it, we gotta track it, and we was gonna let Dustin do it, because I thought it was gonna cost too much, but Click has got an offer they're wanting to discuss with us, so, Terry?
Good evening. So, I guess it's been about a year ago, we come to the conclusion that this fiber that y'all got, that you paid a lot of money for, is not being located. So, to tell you what that is, when you call 811 dig, nobody's getting that call for that fiber. And, we almost hit it, putting in a fiber for the new state court. And our grill actually bumped something. And he said, I feel like I bumped something. I said, well, it might be the county's fiber. I says, is it located? And we looked, there was no marks on the ground. That's when we found out it wasn't being located. So anytime anybody digs up a sewer system or, you know, anything along that route, which is all the way from the jail to the fire department, to the courthouse, and there's a lot of, there's a lot of digging that goes on during different times. It could be cut, and you'd be, the internet for the whole county would be down, including, could be 911, according to which way it's being fed. So, to hire one of these services, that's all they do is locate. They charge you by the foot for every locate. That can get expensive. Y'all buying equipment and training somebody could be expensive. So I gave Brad a price one day, and I almost had to call 911, what it would cost to do it. But anyway, I got to thinking one day, and I said, well, we want to help the county. See if we could do a little bit of a trade out. So the fiber that y'all got is 48 fibers that runs from, like I said, from the jail to the courthouse. And there's also an extra conduit that runs along beside it, because the fiber that they used is non-traceable fiber. So when you go to locate it, you can't hook to it and locate it. You have to locate to a tracer wire that's in that other conduit. So my proposal is that we would do the locating at no charge. The only thing we ask in return is if we ever need, and we might not ever need it, that if we ever needed to use, you've got 48 fibers and you're using 8 of those 48 fibers to run the county, that we either have access to those fibers and or that other conduit that's running through there. And what we would do if we ever used the other conduit is we would pull our fiber through that other conduit and just use our fiber and leave y'all's fiber alone. And our fiber is traceable. So we can hook to our fiber and trace it throughout the way your fiber runs. I've been doing it, I guess, for a year. I've been trying to watch out for it because ours runs along with y'all's, except for on College Avenue. Right along behind Colony Bank down to the courthouse. If an 811 call comes in that route, I don't get it. So if we map it, what we would do is take y'all's route and just put it on our map. And we would get the call if an 811 call comes in. We've had to come over here for emergency locates, like, you know, poles get hit, stuff like that, you know, and they just have to replace a pole. And it could be, you know, if it's right beside you and we don't get the call, nobody gets the call, it could get cut. And a cut, it'd be $6,000-7,000 to repair that fiber. And nobody needs, you know, y'all don't need that expense. And, I don't think it's enough to grant paying an outside source to do it. And this way, there's no money, nothing has to be budgeted. It's just, if we ever needed to use, and like I said, the only place we would really have to have it, or we would ever possibly use it, would be from, just down College Street. But I would go ahead and put it on our, maps, and, we would go ahead and start locating it as soon as y'all tell us it's okay to start doing it. And it would be no charge.
So I just have one question.
Go
Do
ahead.
we have some agreement that we need to have in writing stipulating that you have access for historical purposes?
Yeah, you know, I'm a handshake kind of guy, but we all might not be here tomorrow, so I would rather put, y'all can just get something wrote up, or however y'all wanna do it, if y'all decide to do it. It don't have to be, you know,
Short and sweet.
yeah,
Just something that
Yeah.
historical, so that if
That's
tomorrow
right.
we all fall over, there's
that's right.
something for you to fall back on.
Exactly, yeah.
Um,
And like I said, there's a chance that we would never use it, but I'm just really was trying to come up with a way that, you know, we would be compensated if we, you know, for our time. If we ever do need it. I don't really think we probably will. But like I said, it's College Avenue's the only place in question. So,
We already do business with Click, they have all our phone systems in the county.
You know, I think it's a good idea. I wanna make sure historically we document the relationship.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
You
good.
could write,
Yeah.
a lawyer could write something up, but it doesn't matter to me whether you won't use, cause we said 48 fibers and we use 8.
yeah.
We would never,
Yeah, I think it would be a cleaner, I mean, it'd just be better, I think, if we ever decided to do anything, we just use that extra.
that's fine too.
Because the thing is, that locator wire is broken some places.
Yeah.
And so if you was to hook up to it at the jail, see, like I can hook to mine at the jail out there, and I can locate mine all the way down, past, over to the railroad tracks. And if you hook to that wire that's cut in a couple of places, you can only go as far as, then when it's cut, it stops, you have to go to the other end and back up to it. And if we put a new fiber in there, like I say, it would be a solid deal, man.
Benefit you wouldn't have to bore and dig, you just
Yeah,
go in our
that's right.
fiber and it's
That's
easier
right.
on you. That's your.
We would still come out of the conduit into a pit somewhere, you know, we'd put our pit somewhere, but that's where it would benefit us, not having to do the boring. And I know this don't have anything to do with it, if that roundabout ever happens, it goes right through that. So there would nobody ever know, you know, they would have never known it was there, and it would have just, you know, got done. So.
I'm good, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? No? Thank you, sir.
Okay.
We appreciate you explaining that to us, because we'd have had to listen to Brad.
I know what I sound.
I think we'd have been totally confused.
Well, he is a confusing guy.
I'm thinking he's used to it.
Thank you.
All right, item 5 is roof and repairs to county buildings. I believe that's you, Nick. Is that you, that you put it on there, Nick? Did you put the item 5?
That wasn't me.
Oh, I'm sorry, who put number 5 on? Okay, I'll leave it, turn it over to you.
We, our problem was all this money going to SNS, and I figured when we should have been voting on it. And I ain't heard that about who voted on it, cut it to SNS.
So it was my understanding when we voted for the insurance adjuster, S&M, it was all in one package. That's how I understood the vote and what I was voting for. Did I misinterpret that? Do you guys have a
That's
difference
what
of
I thought,
opinion?
that's what I thought.
So,
That was my understanding.
yeah, so we did vote on it, but we voted on it as a package.
It wasn't my own thing. I feel this is, we vote on everything we do.
Latrice?
Yeah.
What did the minutes specifically
That,
say?
that too much money going to the S&S and all these contracts we got around here. Cause we got money to that S&S.
What the minute said when we voted with Noble to come on. S&S was a part of Noble.
This was actually an insurance claim. I don't ever remember us voting on the insurance claim, like if we had a dump truck turnover.
Jamaica.
We didn't, I just don't ever remember us voting on a insurance claim before. I mean, they pay for it, we just don't, we've never voted on one that I know of.
I ain't got no problem with dump truck, you know, but I got a problem with, and it boils down to making on these buildings, and we got other guys who do the same thing. I think it should be broken.
We can vote, I mean, we can put it and vote on it now, but half the buildings are done. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
just wanna pick my piece on it, that's all.
Okay.
Got the free to do it, didn't do it, but I feel safe, it should have been broken.
I mean, we can administratively next week re-vote again, just to make sure it's all clean, but I was very clear when I voted that I was voting it as a complete package, but.
No, I say that when it first come in, that we need to vote on.
And you was against it, I mean, I remember Joe being against it.
Exactly, they said that's what I was.
So I guess my question is, do we need to have an agenda item next week or not? Because I don't think we do, but I wanna talk to the rest of you.
I don't think you do, cause you already got your 3 votes.
Okay, three voting.
Oh, alright, so there's no agenda item required, Latrice. Alright, next item is item 6, HB 1116, and this was more for, it is the Home Ownership Opportunity and Market Equalization Act. It's had a couple of, it's been revised several times, but basically, what it does is this legislation prevents counties from passing a budget if our revenues exceed the state mandated cap based on a rollback rate. It also would flip lost to, L-host. Joe ran some numbers for the chamber because they were asking for questions. And it potentially, based on our historical number, could result in a mill increase. And what we don't wanna do is get ourselves caught in a situation where we're having to raise taxes. We're hoping, obviously, the L-host conversion would offset under this change, but it initially doesn't look like that. So ACCG is opposed to this. They are fighting it. According to the last update, it was supposed to go to the Senate floor. Today, I've been out there, I haven't seen anything on it, but I'm just asking all of you to familiarize yourself with this, HOMA Act and keep yourselves abreast on what's going on, so we're not caught off guard. So it's really just familiarize yourself with it. Okay, any questions? Any statements on it? No?
There's nothing we can do about it. The Senate, they're gonna do whatever they do, and then we're gonna have to.
We're gonna have to
fix it.
react.
We're one of 30 counties that's already put in the host, whatever they call it, host tax. We're already giving our taxpayers the benefit of the new tax this year.
The floss.
The floss.
Yeah, we're doing the floss. Mhm.
The lost, we give it to all the taxpayers right now.
Correct.
They're going to only give it to
Homeowners.
homesteads.
Yeah.
So it's gonna go up on everybody else's taxes.
According to, and these were, last year's numbers, right? So revenue's a year behind. But according to him, he's thinking it's gonna be about a 2.4 mil increase. That's estimates.
Which is bad.
Is very bad. So I just wanna make sure we're all paying attention to this, especially, if it's something that is effective this year, which is what they're proposing, that we're ready for it and know how to handle it when we deal with, the mill rate in the fall, and make decisions at budgeting time. So, just heads up, that's all.
Bad.
Bad. Okay, item 7, discuss 26-27 budgets. I had asked Latrice to send out a notice to everyone to begin the process of building their budgets. I'm also asking all of the, department heads and elected officials to prioritize their equipment needs, so we're not getting, equipment requests out of budget cycle, so we can include those in our budgets, any priorities that they have or, needs.
On that, on the budget,
Yes,
the clerk and county manager, clerk and the county manager, I was let them two go through everything and then bring it back to the budget.
that's fine, I'm just saying I've asked them to start working on it, so that we're not doing this in May, June, that we're a little more prepared and not doing this in June.
Surely you're not looking at us because of what happened last year.
Yeah, I am, but that's okay. At the end of the day, I'm just trying to be proactive and ask them to start working on their budgets, that's all. Just heads up. Okay? Alright. Next on the item is chair comments. So just a couple things. I saw that there was an election bill that's, been out there. It was originally House Bill 960, it's been replaced by SB 568. It's proposed, paper ballots and some other things, and it's gonna have some unfunded requirements on the counties. ACCG is pushing back on this. Again, I don't know where it's at, but Jane, just keep your eye out on this and see what it does, and if next week, if you can give us an update on the impacts to the county, I'd appreciate it. I was tagged, Dustin here, I can't see. Dustin, I was tagged on a post on Cofer Road. The road grader had been by, but it's still in really bad shape. It's, if you could just investigate that for me to see where that is at.
It's fixed.
They fixed it? Perfect, great, thank you. And then, I think that was all I had. Yep, that's all I have. Next item is county manager comments, update on lost revenue.
Okay, I'll give y'all some papers that Latrice was good enough to get up for us. January through,
Can you make up, please?
the month of
Mike.
sorry. December was only $108, so February, the money we got in February for January was 95,000, and then the February was 90,000, so April should be, April, May, June, July should be really good for the travelers, getting gas and all that stuff, and should go up a good bit. It looks like it's doing pretty good to me. The city's already has already received their share, and that's all I got about that. I will say that, Denham Road is the widening and, resurfacing is complete, and they did a great job. They're working on, West County Line Road now, and, they've run into a few problems that they fixed, and, we're good, real good to work with Dustin on it, and, we're just, real pleased with the work they've done.
Is that all you got?
That's all I got.
Alright, thank you. Any public comments? Ashley?
He left his mic on.
I just wanted to say, we had career day at the high school, last week. And, I wanted to brag on Miss Mandy Cole for doing a fantastic job putting it together. She does a lot of work into that. I was particularly proud, we had our, road department there, they did a great job, our sheriff's office came and represented. But I think my favorite, if I'm gonna call any county employee, and I hope I'm not leaving anybody out, but, Miss Latrice, oh my gosh, y'all would have loved what she did. I thought it was so clever. She went and got a poster of y'all's, what?
I didn't like the poster.
Okay, well, nobody cares. She got a poster made with y'all's faces on it, all the commissioners. And then she would ask the kids if they come by, she'd say, you know, where do you live? And they'd say, and then she'd go, okay, well, who's your district, like, who's your commissioner? Did any of them know?
Small percentage of
It's
it.
a very small percentage of them. It was funny, Magistrate, Judge Blake Christian was walking around and she would ask him, you know, he was standing there and, she asked him, you know, who's your magistrate judge? And they had no idea, and, they didn't know what the Chamber of Commerce is. But anyway, I just thought that was really cool, and if they did eventually get it right, she'd give them a prize, so, I just thought that was a really cool thing that she did, and, I think we need to work better to get y'all in the school system and let them know what commissioners do and the other functions of the county offices, because they're gonna be voters in just a few short months, so I just wanted to throw that out there, and again, thank you, Mandy.
Thank you, Ashley.
One other thing, Dustin and Tim, y'all did a great job on the speaker system.
Oh, yeah.
I hadn't had to say, or what'd you say? Thank you so much,
I got something I'm gonna find out.
except for the sheriff and stuff.
I left out earlier, and then I wish the clique guy was still here, but if y'all, as a sheriff and as a citizen, when y'all just vote to let them take either the other 40 fibers or either that pipe, I prefer y'all not give them the whole 40 because we are planning on.
Yeah, he said he may not even but 2 or 4.
Right.
But tonight he sounded like he may just use that empty one.
Right, but if he does want some fiber, I would say, please don't give him all, because we're planning on tapping into the school system, camera system, so we might utilize some of those other fibers for other things in the future. And I hate for us to give them away and then need them, working. And the other thing, I think is that I wanted to bring out, from the other night at the Sycamore Council meeting, the captain down there brought up that they pay for a dispatcher down there, they think they should get better service. What they pay y'all for services does not cover a dispatcher. Because if they had to cover a dispatcher's cost, you would have to have 2 dispatchers, plus another dispatcher to cover when those are off or on vacation. Plus the benefit that this county gets, each one of those agencies get by paying what they pay y'all, the maintenance and repair on all that equipment down there far exceeds what they pay the county, either cities. So by him having that impression that they pay for a dispatcher is not right. They're like timeshare. They're getting services that they're getting a lot more benefit than they're paying for by the fact that we supply 24-hour service dispatchers, where they think that what they're paying covers that. It does not come close to that. Plus the maintenance, electric, everything else that goes into that building. So just wanted to clarify that for the taxpayers.
All right, thank you, Sheriff. All right, do we have a need for executive session tonight?
No.
All right, since there's no need for an executive session, do we have any more business?
I have strawberries for everyone.
And with no further business, this meeting is adjourned.
And it's not an election year for you.
Baby, it's not what I'm about. Glad to have Rick and Joe.
Oh, boy, yeah, what it is.
As a citizen, next week, the youth home director's gonna come. In your district, I think, they're gonna donate 68 acres to the youth home. So whenever he calls me, I'll let you know.
You got yourself.
Thank you, Brad. Yeah, that'd be good. Hey.
Yeah, no, he said he wasn't. He said the only person he was on college.
No, I didn't forget. I was just like.
He forgot about me. He said, let me go, I'll call you back. Ghost me.
Oh, well, I was on the
This is his
fact
way
that
to
you
get
couldn't
me
hear
off the phone.
You couldn't hear me and I couldn't hear you, so.
I got information on the, data stuff. Do you want me to make a copy and email them to you? It's impossible. I didn't make any of it, so what I'll do is just make more copies.
Well, I'm busy. Yeah, my granddaughter was crying.
She said, you got my email? You know I had to call.
She was talking about this.
No, you already did your personal payment.
Yeah, no, I can play over. She was over.
Gotta get them done.
Did you want that stuff I have, Jan, or? Thank you. That's yours. Yep.
And it may be lost in committee, I don't know, but.
Okay, yeah, I see.
It's the